Hi, I'm Zach, and I have a problem, and I think it's a problem that a lot of you probably can also relate to. I buy way too many video games. Whenever there's a sale on the Xbox store, whenever there's a sale on Steam, I have a huge library, a huge backlog of games. So I'm working my way through Stalker 2, getting all the achievements in that game is let me tell you. Oh, I'm not supposed to curse in the first 5 minutes of a YouTube video. Getting all the achievements in that game is a real pain in the patoot. Getting all the artifacts is really stressing me out. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of glitches I have to contend with. So ultimately, I just decided I'm going to play another game just kind of in between my artifact hunts to offset the kind of frustration and the burnout that Stalker 2 was causing me. So I was looking through my Xbox game library to find another game to kind of blow off steam, and I saw this game, Crypt of the Serpent King Remastered 4K. I don't know why they added the 4K in there, but whatever. And I vaguely remember buying this game. I think I remember seeing it on the store and going, oh, this is like a remaster or a remake of like an old mid-90s dungeon crawler, kind of like Ultima or something. And I'm like, I'll check this out. You know, even if it's not a great game by today's standards, you get a little bit of video game history in there. You get to play one of the classics. I assume, at least, it's got to be a classic if it got a remaster. Right? So I booted the game up and decided to do some achievement hunting in a game other than Stalker 2 to kind of take the edge off, and was greeted to this menu screen. Okay, but no judgment. I mean, if they really are truly emulating kind of an old dungeon crawler game, these kind of early CGI skeleton and snake creatures, I mean, they're passable. They look like there's something out of a 90s dungeon crawler. Like, that's perfectly fine. So naturally, the first thing I did when I opened up the menu was to go to the how to play section, and it showed me the controls. We basically have move, jump, attack, and interact. That's all the controls, essentially. But okay, better games have done far more with far less, right? You know, like Super Mario Brothers, all you do is move and jump, and that game's fucking awesome. So I'm keeping an optimistic mind, right? I go to the objective section, which says your main goal on each level is to defeat the final boss, which is in a locked room downstairs. Keys are found on altars spread throughout the level. They are required to unlock the gate to the boss room. Okay, again, stock standard design. One of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite N64 game of all time, is Turok Dinosaur Hunter. That entire game is just move, shoot, collect keys. Same controls, same basic idea here. But is this gonna be as good as Turok? Maybe as good as Turok 2008. So I load up level 1, and right off the bat, okay, the game looks like a Unity asset flip. In fact, it probably is. It was made in Unity. But again, I'm not gonna hold a game's engine against them. So I give my hatchet here a few swings, and wow. Yeah, that's the attack animation for the hatchet. I can't even tell when it's supposed to be connecting, you know, with the swing. It's that's really, really weightless, I guess is the word to describe that. I see these wooden barrels and crates over here, and I think wooden crate, hatchet, 1 × 1 = 2, stereology. But no, you can't interact with the environment in that way. You can't interact with the environment at all, in fact. But not a problem, it's a dungeon crawler. We're here to fight monsters and collect treasure, right? So we get our first taste of combat, and wow, it's not good. It is very, very hard to tell how close you need to be to an enemy for your hits to connect. It's very hard to tell how close they need to be for their hits to connect. And it's very hard to tell when the attack animation is at its climax, at its peak. You know what I mean? Like when you're actually hitting as opposed to just the wind up and the swing. It's just not good. Basically, the entire strategy for combat in the early game of... this is a 2-hour game. In the first 30 minutes or so, I guess, is the early game. Basically, the combat boils down to is bait the brain dead AI into attacking, wait for their animation to finish, and then move in and attack. And then back up and rinse and repeat. Bait the attack, back up. Bait, attack, back up. That is the winning strategy that will get you all the way through the entirety of Crypt of the Serpent King remastered 4K. And the saddest part is that I know after this first enemy that this is all this game has to offer, because I've seen the controls. There's no more depth coming. There's no dodge. There's no block. There's no magic. There's ranged weapons. We'll get to that. But as far as melee combat goes, this is it. Actually, that's not true. I guess once you get the halberd, you have a little bit more range, and you can just stand outside of the enemy's attack range, and they will literally just stand there swinging at you as you just poke them, because you're in range of them and they aren't in range of you, but for some reason the AI just doesn't move forward to attack. I don't know. The first key is also in this first room, and it's on this altar surrounded by a river of lava, which is actually kind of cool, right? We got some platform puzzling in here, and I'm sure there will be way more platforming and way more puzzles like that to solve in future levels. Was that subtle foreshadowing? Was that subtle foreshadowing? Was that subtle enough? Okay, because there isn't. That is the only reason you'll ever need to use the jump button in this game, is to get over a pit in front of a key. There are 7 levels in this game, and for 6 of them, there is a pit around the altar that the key is on. It might be filled with lava, it might be filled with spikes, but it's a pit. You jump over it, and that's it. There's no lava or spikes anywhere else in the game. It's only around the altars. The only exception is that one level has these vents that vent out fire around the altar that you just gotta time, you kind of run between when the vents stop shooting fire for a second. But that's literally it. That's the only puzzle. Why am I calling it a puzzle? You jump over the pit. That's all it is. But that's the only time you'll ever use the jump ability. That's the only thing they do to stop you from getting the keys, aside from the enemies. What are we? We're literally like 30 seconds into the game. This is the entire gameplay loop. You kill enemies, and you jump over things to get keys. That's literally the entire game. There's also these chests spread out throughout the levels, and they can have one of 3 things in them. They can have gold, they can have health potions that'll heal you, and they can have arrows for your ranged weapon that you'll get eventually. See, defeating enemies gives you XP, collecting gold from chests gets you gold, and at the end of a level, you can use your XP to level up your stats, and then you can use the gold to buy new weapons. And I don't know, there's like 4 or 5 weapons in the game total, and 2 ranged weapons. There's crossbow and bow. Don't even worry about the melee weapons. Once you get to the halberd, which is like the 3rd weapon, you can just stop there, because the halberd has the highest range out of all the melee weapons, so you can just convert to that strategy of standing outside of their zone of attack and just stabbing them while they just stand there. And you can even do that on bosses, by the way. Like, it's a joke. It's actually a joke. The boss of level 1, naturally you're fighting all of these rat people, so the boss of level 1 is going to be a guy with an axe, not like a rat king or a really big rat person, or just a giant rat. That would have been thematically appropriate. No, it's just a dude with an axe, which really makes me think that this game is a Unity asset flip. In fact, let me talk about that now. Remember how I was talking about how I was under the impression that this was a remake or remaster of like a 90s dungeon crawler game? Well, it's not. It's called Remastered because it's a remaster of a 2015 Xbox Live arcade game. 2015. If you played this game in 2015, I would laugh at you. Let alone 2024. Oh, hey, it's New Year's Eve. It's 2024 while I'm recording this. Happy New Year. It's already the new year for you, probably. I don't think I'm going to edit this in a day. But, hope you saw Nosferatu while I was in theaters. Support cinema. Support Robert Eggers. Good movie. I don't know. I'm seeing it tonight, actually. So hopefully it's a good movie. Editor note. Put in if it's a good movie right here. Say editor note like I'm not the editor. Okay, anyway. Level 2 is in the sewers and you fight goblins. And I bought a mace and it fucking sucks. It's not... It feels just like the hatchet. It's very floaty. I can't tell when my attacks are gonna actually connect, and these goblins are the new enemies who attack very fast, and they actually kind of fucked me up but that doesn't mean you can't just keep using the same strategy of baiting their attacks and then attacking them. To say that it is more of the same is the understatement of the century, because the entire fucking game is this: bait, attack, jump over a lava pit, grab a key, open a chest. I don't know, like it's listen, the game's on sale for $1.50, so I can't really complain all that much. They did price it appropriately. I think at max price it's like $4. $4 is a little much. Like, spend that, if you have $4 to burn, spend that somewhere. Spend that on a Fortnite skit or something. Like, but $1.50 on sale, this game it's an easy 1,000 points. I'll put it that way. If you're one of those people who obsesses over achievements and wants an easy 1,000 pointer that they can wipe out in, I think it took me 2 hours from start to finish to 100% this game. Past that, I don't know. You know, $1.50. I mean, that's a McChicken and a half. So, wait, is it? What? Holy, okay, Jesus Christ. Okay, never mind. McChickens apparently cost $2.99 now. What the fuck happened to this country? Anyway, well, it's the cost of half of McChicken anyway. Anyway, back to the game. Boss at level 2, the boss of the goblin level, is a snake goblin thing. Might be the only custom asset made for this game, I'm assuming, because it is Crypt of the Serpent King, so it makes sense that there's a serpent-esque goblin, or maybe he's just a lizard man. I don't really know. But you'll never guess how you beat him. Same way you beat everything in this game. Level 3, I finally get the halberd, and we are fighting orcs, which is cool, I guess. They don't have weapons, they just kind of trying to grab you. But the halberd has range, like I said, so you can stay right outside their range and just stab them down, and they just kind of stand there and do nothing. It's the new meta strat, as it were, for the mid game of Crypt of the Serpent King 4K remaster. This level also mixes up a little bit. You jump over spike pits now to get to the keys. It's cool, I guess. I feel like the orcs in this level are kind of like free asset ripoffs of like World of Warcraft orcs. Just how like their armor looks and how their proportions are. The boss of the level is kind of like a World of Warcraft ogre also, but with one eye. It's a Cyclops, I guess. Who do you think's gonna play the Cyclops in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey? Think they'll have someone famous play the Cyclops? I think Seth Rogen would be a good pick. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say about this game. It's literally the same thing for 7 fucking levels. You guys like movies? Level 5, we're in a dusty kind of Egyptian style tomb. We're fighting skeletons now. There's lava around the keys again. No more spike pits. That was just a quick little diversion. We're back to lava now. Something that's also kind of annoying about this game is that every level you need one more key to advance to get to the boss. So like it starts out you need 8 keys, and then like level 2 is 9 keys, level 3 is 10 keys, and now we're up to 11. By the end you need to collect like 14 keys on the level, which is just artificial padding because, you know, did I mention it's the same thing over and over again? This game is the same thing constantly. It's just the same enemy types. They don't even have more than one enemy type per level. It's just the same enemy type on every level, and then the boss. The boss of the Egyptian level is like a crocodile man, I think. I don't know. He's kind of obscured by the shadow, and he never moved from that spot because I stood outside of his range and stabbed him a lot because that's how you play this game. So you kill him and then you beat level 5. I just finished watching Shogun. Really great show. I can see why it swept the Emmys. I was pretty late to it, but level 4. I beat this crocodile boss. That was the boss of level 4. I thought we were farther than we are because it's impossible to tell since all these levels kind of blend together. Level 5 mixes it up a little bit. We got human enemies now, and they also have halberds, so their reach just as far as yours. So you gotta actually revert to the first strategy of baiting their attacks and then attacking them. So I guess you could say there are 2 playstyles to this game if you really think about it, which is player agency, ludonarrative dissonance. Boss of this level, also a human. He's got one of those cool kind of like Turkish or like 300 immortal masks on. But that's really all I got to say. It is worth mentioning, I guess, that, you know, I did die once or twice in this game when I was still figuring out the leech strats. And if you die, you start right at the beginning of the level. You don't got to start over from the beginning, and it saves all of your stats and your equipment and stuff like that. Why am I giving actual advice? Nobody's gonna watch this video and then play this game. I don't know why I'm giving actual advice, but if you do venture out to play Crypt of the Shadow Necromancer, Crypt of the Serpent King 4K remastered, death resets the beginning of the level. Now you know. Now we're in the later stages of the game, and I had enough gold that I could afford a ranged weapon, which is cool. I got a bow, which made the game somehow even easier, because now I could just shoot enemies from afar, and not, like, all the enemies in this game are melee enemies. So you shoot them, the arrow stun locks them, and then you shoot them 1 or 2 more times, or however many it takes, and then they die. You don't even need to get close enough to have to worry about, oh, am I too close? Am I in their attack range? Or, oh, did I bait their attack too soon? Is my timing off? Like, no. It's basically free kills. The ranged weapons are basically free kills. Only downside is you have ammo, but you can replenish them from chests. But alas, we are down to the very last level, the deepest depths of the Crypt of the Serpent King. We're here to slay him, I guess. And who would have thought the enemies on the final level are serpents. They're serpents. They're snakes. And you have to jump over spikes to get to the keys. This level actually does introduce a very late game mechanic now, though. This game has doors. Yes, you heard it here. This level has doors that are in between each of the rooms that you need to open. Are those doors locked, you might ask? Do they need a key? Was there backtracking, like a Metroidvania? No. You just go up to the doors and you hit X, and they open. There's no reason to add doors to this one. I don't know why they have doors in this level and none of the other ones. Baffling. That is the word I would use to describe this game. It's baffling. I don't understand why any of the decisions were made with this game. It's bizarre. But I did buy, for this level, the longsword. I swapped out my halberd because there is an achievement for buying the sword. So I bought the sword. It's literally just, the achievement is buy the sword. It does slightly more damage than the halberd. Slightly less range, though. Believe it or not, I had to adapt my strategy for the last boss. I couldn't just do the typical, bait and then, attack. I couldn't do the typical, stay outside of their range and swing at them strategy. I could have. I just chose not to. I chose instead to just shoot arrows at them and keep them stun locked. I literally just stood there and held the trigger until I shot enough arrows and they died. And then I kept shooting because I was probably looking at my second monitor and I wasn't actually paying attention to the game and I was just holding the trigger. So I kept shooting after he was dead. But with that, you get the achievement for beating level 7. And that means we've 100%ed this game. Yes, there is 7 achievements for beating each level. And then there are other achievements for just like playing the game, opening a chest, killing a goblin, buying the sword. Gotta buy the sword, dude. And that's it. That's Crypt of the Serpent King, 4K remastered, or remastered 4K, for the Xbox Series X. Probably on other platforms. Is it worth $1.55? No, not really. Is it worth it if you are in an achievement point race with your friends and you're like, whoever can get the 10,000 points first wins? Absolutely. It's literally 2 hours from start to finish for the 1,000 points. And I think I paused the game for like a half an hour to go eat lunch. So, very easy game to 100%, very quick game to 100%. Did it help me blow off steam in between my artifact hunts in Stalker 2? Not really. It just kind of confused me. I was baffled by every step of the way of this game. I I think going forward, I want to make more videos on these sorts of games, these really cheap indie games, because there's gotta be a diamond in the rough out there. There's gotta be a Crypt of a Serpent King type game, a dungeon crawler type game that I can buy for 30 cents that 8 people have played that is actually pretty good. If you watch my channel before, you know I have a soft spot for games with a lot of ambition and a lot of passion behind them that just may have missed the mark and turned out to be kind of shit games. Two worlds. But I think I want to explore the indie scene a little bit more. I want to do a little bit more achievement hunting in it. So stay tuned if you like this video. And if you didn't like this video and you like my other content more, stay tuned because Stalker 2, one day, I'm working on it. Stalker 2 is... it's fucking my ass. Anyway, that's it for me. You know, like, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if there's any like cheap, lesser known indie games, either on Steam or Xbox, that you'd like to see me cover that I might enjoy. Sort of hidden gems or pieces of shit that you just want to prank me with, like Crypt of the Necronomicon. Crypt of the Serpent King. I keep wanting to say Crypt of the Necrodancer, but that's like an actually good game. If you got any more shit games like that, listen, if this video does well, I mean, I'm gonna have to make more of these. So, yeah. Anyway, see ya. Jesus Christ, $3 for a McChicken. What the fuck?